Mango Math presents The Great Divide, and it's a 5th grade game. The Great Divide is a 5th grade game that falls under the math strand of number sense. It's a number sense game where students find whole number quotients using strategies based on properties of operation. The Great Divide has some math terms that help increase understanding. And those math terms are divisor, a number that exactly divides into another number, can also be called a factor. And a factor is a number that exactly divides into another number. It also can be called a divisor. Multiple, a product of two whole numbers. So multiples of 3 would be 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 4 is 12. So it's counting by that number on up. And a prime number is a number whose only number factors are 1 in itself, and composites are the other numbers. It's a number that has at least one whole factor, so 1 is not a factor, but would have 2 and another number, or more going along with it. It just has more than the 1 in itself. The supplies that are provided in the pouch, along with your information sheet and directions, will be a deck of playing cards, divisor cards, divisor game board, and a dry erase marker. In order to do this game, I would have you remove the 11s, 10s, 11s, and 12s out of the deck. You just want to have the 0s through 9 so that you can make every digit. To start this game, the dealer, you'll have one person who's the dealer or the wall sentry, and they'll deal out 2 cards. In this case, they dealt out the 3 and the 6, which makes the 2-digit number 36. Then each player will select 2 cards from the Great Divide cards, and they get to choose them. They don't get to see them. They'll have them up so their backs are showing, and they just draw out 2 cards. In this case, player A picked the rules of divisibility for 3 and the rules of divisibility for 9, and player B did the rules of divisibility of 2 and the rules of divisibility by 6. So if you look through the rules of divisibility, there are some certain strategies that you can use to figure out if the number 36 is actually divisible by the 3 or the 9 or the 2 or the 6. So students will work on that, and they'll have this Great Divide board game in order to work it out. Now, your sentry, or the person who's the dealer, will be the one to determine if, yes, indeed, they did the mathematics correctly. And if there's any misunderstanding, then they can all talk together, come up with a common agreement. And if you need to bring somebody else in, you can do that as well. But so let's start with player A, and he has the rules of divisibility of 3. And it says add up all the digits in the number. If the sum is 3, 6, or 9, it is divisible by 3. So we take the 3 plus the 6, and it equals 9. So it is divisible by 3. So the player would write that number down into the box, into one of the bricks. We're just using the larger bricks that are the gray solid tone and not the two-toned smaller ones. So now we use the rule of divisibility for 9, add up all the digits in the number, and if the sum is 9, it's divisible by 9. So if we add up the 6 and the 3, it does equal 9, so it's also divisible by 9. So we can also put 36 on the next brick up. Now the player B will use the cards and do the same thing. Is it divisible by 2? If it ends in an even number, it is, and it ends in a 6, so indeed it does. So they can write that on their board. And the rules of divisibility for 6, if the number is divisible by 2 and by 3, it's also divisible by 6. And since 2 went into it, we know the other player 3 had it in it, so we know it's divisible by 6. 6 times 6 goes into it. So they can write those down, and then they'll again draw out 2 new cards and check to see if their numbers are in fact divisible. 42 is divisible by the numbers. Well, if you add the 4 and the 2, you get 6. So it's divisible by 3, so the player would write 42 down. Is it divisible by 9? If I add the 4 and the 2, I get 6. I don't get a 9, so it's not divisible by 9. Is it divisible by 2? Yes, because it ends in a 2. So the player B gets to write that down in their board game. And is it divisible by 6? If it's divisible by 2 and by 3, it's divisible by 6. So that player gets to write his number down. Now, to make it a little more challenging, I suggest having the students, instead of writing the answer down, the number of cards that were drawn, they actually write what is the other number in their problem. So 3 into 36 would have gone 12 times. 9 into 36 would have gone 4. 3 goes into 42 16 times. And the same would have been done on the other side with 2 going into 36 18 times. 6 into 36 would have gone 6. 2 into 42 goes 21 times, and 6 into 42 goes 7. So they just write that down. So they're doing a little bit more mathematics while they're doing it. Some guided questions to promote critical thinking. What divisor went into more dividends and why? Which divisors were more difficult to determine if they went into the dividend and why? And is there a difference between the divisor and a factor? And so they could just have those questions given to them. Enjoy.